Hi everyone and welcome back to the Zombies. Every now and then I hear a question, what's better, Ether Tool or Pack-a-Punch? And it's a really weird question because the answer is both. Each level of weapon's rarity gives you a multiplier to the damage, and each level of Pack-a-Punch doubles whatever the damage you already have, so they work best together, rather than one instead of another. But while this all sounds cool, how much of a difference is there actually? So I decided to take the same gun and try it out in Zombies at each rarity and each level of Pack-a-Punch to compare. Especially since when I started playing Zombies I had no idea about any of that, and understanding the difference between various upgrades was quite a task. So here we are. My weapon of choice for this experiment is your basic SVA 545. It's the very first gun in Modern Warfare 3, so everyone has it, and it's probably one of the first weapons you'll level up, and it happens to be a really decent gun as well, while not being part of meta or generally OP. So here we go, starting with a common rarity at no punch, just like you do infilling with a gun and nothing else in your backpack. Common rarity has a damage multiplier of 1, meaning there is no bonus or anything and all you have is your base weapon's damage. Weapons level or number of attachments don't matter, and as things in Zombies are, even if this was a legendary gun in your previous run, once you infill again, its rarity is reset to common. As you can see, even with no rarity upgrades or Pack-a-Punch, the gun is reasonably effective against basic zombies. It takes multiple bullets to kill anything, even with headshots, but not too much. It's usable for small encounters and as support when you move around. Dealing with larger crowds, though, will be a problem. You'll find yourself running out of ammo and having to reload a lot, so it's best to avoid fighting more than 4 to 5 zombies at once, even in the low threat zone. Moving into the medium threat zone changes the picture completely. Tier 2 zombies are way more resilient, and while you can get kills with non-punched common gun, you'll be burning through ammo at crazy pace, using up a full clip to take out 1 or 2 zombies. Your weapon essentially becomes ineffective, since any medium to large crowd will overrun you without a problem. Any special zombie in medium threat zone becomes a huge issue, and even trying to tackle a hunt contract in low threat zone is not a good idea until you get some upgrades going. Just out of curiosity, I tried to shoot tier 3 zombie with this, and well, as you can expect, I'd have more luck trying to use my fists instead. So let's upgrade this gun to Pack-a-Punch 1. This doubles the damage output but also doubles the clip capacity and overall ammo reserve, which is extremely helpful. Some guns can have other side effects applied to them, like RGL gets an on-impact grenade detonation regardless of distance, or VR11 gains the ability to heal vehicles when Pack-a-Punched. At Punch 1, even without rarity upgrade, tier 1 zombies just stopped being a problem at all. With just 2 hits needed to kill one and increased ammo capacity, you can deal with any crowd and not really worry about being overrun. In medium threat zone, things don't really improve that much. You can clearly see more damage being dealt, and in particular headshots becoming more effective, but it still takes way too many bullets to feel comfortable. Which means trying to do contracts like Outlast or Raid Stash in the yellow with Punch 1 common gun is not going to be a great experience. And tier 3 zombies? Well, you could as well shoot the wall to the same effect, no fun at all. So let's get it up to Pack-a-Punch 2. While there is no further increase in ammo capacity or other bonuses, the damage gets doubled again, so we are now at quadruple the base damage of my SVA. And now the difference is easily seen. Tier 2 zombies are much easier to deal with, especially if you can land headshots reasonably well. You still need to take care with larger crowds and make sure you always have space to break contact and make some distance, but overall it's much more manageable. Tier 3 though, well, clearly better, but still not really good enough to be effective. You can use Common Punch 2 against individual tier 3 zombies, but anything more than that will eat you alive, literally. Time to punch up to level 3, the maximum allowed at the moment. This brings us to 8 times the base damage. As you can expect, medium threat zone becomes much less of a threat. and you can deal with tier 2 special zombies with relative ease as well, which means you can comfortably do most of the contracts in the area, take on the strongholds and so on. Tier 3 though still remains a challenge. Yes, zombies do become killable, but only in small numbers and in well-controlled environment. If you happen to be attacked from more than one direction, or a special zombie joins the party, this weapon will not help you at all. Overall, my opinion is Punch 3 on a common gun is a waste of money and time. Higher rarity guns are plentiful on the map, so rather buff those than common. Now, let's look at the green weapon. Uncommon rarity gives additional 50% bonus to the base damage and is really easy to acquire. You gain the ability to craft uncommon ether tools from the firepower mission in the first tier of Act 1, and tools themselves drop frequently from contracts in low threat zone and even as a ground loot. Off the bat, killing tier 1 zombies is very easy since it wasn't hard even with a common gun. Tier 2, however, is still no fun with multiple headshots required to take down even singular zombies. By chance I happened to join someone in their HVT fight in low threat zone, and that was quite painful. Doing it alone with just a green weapon is a bad idea. At Pack-a-Punch 1, your damage doubles together with a rarity multiplier, bringing this SVA to 3 times the base damage. Tier 1 zombies become a breeze, even with limp shots being effective means to kill. Tier 2 is bearable, but you have to heavily rely on headshots to deal with larger crowds. Tier 3 is a no-go, as can be expected. Special zombies in Tier 2 can be dealt with, but are generally a pain, especially if there is a lot of regular zombies around. Now, Punch 2 is 6 times the base damage. Tier 2 becomes actually easy and you can actually push against crowded zombies instead of constantly retreating. Special zombies are no longer too special, as you can kill them with relative ease. I would advise against tier 2 hunt contracts though, unless you are in a full squad, as those will be huge bullet sponges. Tier 3 is expectedly out of reach, with way too many headshots required to take down even singular targets. Punch 3 is now 12 times the base damage. That's a 50% increase over common maximum damage. As you can imagine, tier 2 zombies are no longer a problem, including any special zombie types and even HVTs. But it's still not enough for tier 3 in my opinion. You can of course clear a medium-sized zombies crowd, but that's sufficient to survive a very short encounter or run around the edge, but not to be comfortable in the red. Let's move on to the rare or blue rarity. Again, it's not hard to get one at all. You gain the ability to craft rare ether tools after completing the Exterminator mission in Act 2, and the tools themselves are pretty common as reward for contracts in both low and medium threat zones. Blue rarity doubles your weapons damage, so a non-punched rare gun is equivalent to punch 1 common weapon, delivering significant benefit even before you get a Pack-a-Punch on it. And just as a common punch 1, a base blue gun lets you roam free in low threat zone, but is barely suitable for a medium threat, as even with headshots it takes multiple hits per zombie to take them down, and you're gonna be running out of ammo and all that stuff. As you can already guess, tier 3 is no go at all. At Pack-a-Punch level 1, you get 4 times the base damage, and as was the case with similar levels before, it's enough to feel reasonably well in medium threat zone. You can take on larger group of zombies, deal with special zombies and do some basic contracts. HVTs are still not advisable, and it's too low for the red zone. With punch 2 and 8 times the base damage, you are at exactly same level as the maximum Pack-a-Punch for a common gun. Basically, this is the base level at which all of the medium threat zone is yours to master, but the red zone is still out of reach. Doing hunt contracts in medium is now possible, but rather as a part of a squad than alone. Solo, those are still quite challenging and require a lot of shooting. But considering that this Rarity Punch combination is very easy to obtain, this is probably a go-to level for players in the beginning of their zombies journey. While you are still busy with a lot of missions, your stash is still not full of high-grade items, and each epic tool feels like a treasure. Punch 3 at Blue Rarity gets you up to 16 times the base damage, and this now is a huge difference. That's pretty much the first time when tier 3 zombies stop feeling like a suicide to deal with, and spamming hunt contracts in the medium threat zone becomes fast and efficient way to make money and grind rewards. That's also when exfil points in the medium threat zone become attractive, though you still may want to be a bit careful since sometimes you can be overrun there regardless of your weapons really. I'd say if your plan for a run only includes low and medium threat zone, then Blue Rarity is an optimal easy choice. Epic Rarity. This one comes with 3 times the base damage and is just great. You can deal with anything the low threat zone can throw at you and also feel pretty well in the medium threat. Body shots in tier 2 are not very effective, but headshots do a great job. It's not enough for the rare, but that's okay, we still have a lot of punch levels to go through. The only problem with Epic Rarity is actually getting it, especially early on. Crafting epic tools requires a schematic that only drops as a reward for contracts in the red zone. And it's a totally random chance of drop. For me it took well over 100 contracts in the red before I got mine, while somebody else gets it on the first time they go there. Epic tools themselves drop as a reward for contracts in medium and high threat zones, and can also be found in ether caches in medium threat zone or above. If you are in the beginning of your zombies journey, never miss a chance to pick one up and save it in the stash for use when you need it. Pack-a-Punch 1 brings you up to 6 times the damage, putting you into comfortable medium threat zone range. HVT contracts can be a bit rough but doable, especially if you are in a squad. But basically Punch 1 is just a temporary stop on your path to higher levels. You use it to make contracts grinding easier, but the goal here is to get the money or crystals for higher levels. Punch 2 is the way to go for a really easy medium threat zone. Just like Uncommon Punch 3, with 12 times the base damage, it gets you to the point where you can comfortably solo any HVT contract, raid infested strongholds and stand your ground against any crowd of zombies. But really, it's just one step from the maximum, so why stop here? Get some more contracts done, collect the cash, and your path leads deep into the red for the last upgrade on Epic. Pack-a-Punch 3 with purple weapon is 24 times the multiplier on base damage. This difference is massive compared to anything of lower grade. That's the level at which I personally feel comfortable just walking in the red. As a squad of 3, at punch 3 purple, you should be able to do any contracts in the red without serious problems, take on the mega abominations and so on. This is also where the difference between just good guns, like my SVA, and meta starts to really shine. While my SVA here is doing pretty well in the red, something like Lockwood 680 shotgun becomes absolutely insane. And a team of 3 people with RGLs and PhD flopper in the red is something worth seeing at least once. And since epic tools, while quite rare, are still comparatively easy to get, this is my go-to way for playing solo. If it somehow happens that I don't have a tool in the inventory or stash, I just buy some purple weapon off the wall in the round, or look for one as loot in various caches. It's just too good to pass on. Now, our last stop, the legendary Rarity. This is the maximum rarity in the game, and of course it comes with the biggest bonus, 4 times the base damage. Legendary ether tools are probably the rarest drops in the game, and crafting them requires a schematic that is only awarded for killing the red wall, the hardest boss fight in the game to date. These tools do drop as a reward for contracts in red zone, and very rarely in the yellow zone, but that's unreliable. A somewhat good way to farm legendary tools is going to Dark and Elder Ether, but that's not an easy task on its own. Until you reach the endgame state, the most common way to get legendary weapons is to buy them off the wall, in the red zone. At 5 grand price point, it's a worthy investment, especially if you plan to take on some of the harder missions, venture into the Dark Ether or spend time farming the red zone. Non-punched performance is nothing special, being equivalent to a blue rarity punch 1 weapon. At punch 1 and 8 times damage, you'll likely spend time getting the cash to punch further in the medium zone. A quick hint to squad players here. Early in the run, it makes real sense to combine all your money on one player with the highest rarity weapon to get them to a maximum Pack-a-Punch first. They can then carry the team through the contracts much faster and more efficient than you would do upgrading your weapons individually. At punch 2, you get 16 times the base damage, and any content outside of the red zone becomes walk in the park. I picked up the hunt contract to get some more cash, just to find someone else's HVT target at the same location as mine, so I had to deal with 2 elite zombies at once while being solo. In other circumstances, that would likely be a bit of a pickle, but 16 times the damage just gets the job done. But as good as punch 2 is, what you really want is to get to the punch 3 fast. With whopping 32 times the base damage, Legendary Rarity and Pack-a-Punch 3 is an ultimate combination in zombies. And just as it happened with Epic Rarity, this is where the meta weapons really work well. A solo with a Legendary Pop 3 weapon can walk around the red zone feeling at home, picking up and completing contracts at will. A team equipped like that can farm those contracts at very high speed, whether to get high level schematics or to get geared up for travel into Dark Ether or fight with the Red Wall. And being in a squad here is really the way to go, since it's just much faster way to get things done. But ultimately, the difference between a common weapon at punch 3 and a legendary one at the same level is unbelievable. Funny enough, you truly get to realize it not when you kill a mega bomb, but rather when you one-shoot a mangler at the exfil in low threat zone. So what's better, ether tool or Pack-a-Punches? Both of course, but if the question is what should you store in your stash, a high-level ether tool or a high-level punch crystal? I'd go for ether tool 100% of the time, simply because Pack-a-Punch you can buy, and tools you have to craft or find in a match. And that is it for this video. I hope it was useful, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.